Hare Krishna, welcome to this episode of Caitanya-caritāmṛta. In this episode, we will continue our reading of the glories of Pañca-tattva from the 7th chapter of the Ādi-līlā of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, specifically from 7.11, 11th verse of the 7th chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya-manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Just a moment. Alright, so this episode of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, we are reading from the 7th chapter of the Ādi-līlā, the glories of the Pañca-tattva. So specifically from 7.11. So let's begin. Krishna madhuryera eka adbhuta svabhav Apna asvadite Krishna kare bhakta bhav. The transcendental mellow of conjugal love of Krishna is so wonderful that Krishna himself accepts the form of a devotee to relish and taste it fully. So if you see the previous verse, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explained how his body is not material. At the same time, although he is Krishna himself, a devotee should not disturb him by addressing him as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, we always know that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam. So we always say this. We should also know that it's not that, we should not quote that verse, we should not say Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne. No, Rupa Goswami has glorified him like that. So we have to understand and glorify him like that. But just that, when we are serving him, of course, we can only serve him through the spiritual master. So just that we should understand that he came as a devotee, so we should respect his mood. Okay? Purport. Although Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, he has a special intention to taste himself by accepting the form of a devotee. It is to be concluded that although Lord Chaitanya is present in the form of a devotee, he is Krishna himself. Therefore, Vaishnavas sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. Radha and Krishna combined together are Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami has said, Caitanya-caritāmṛta prakaramadhuna tadvayam chaikyamaptam. Radha and Krishna assumed oneness in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all the Vaishnava Acharyas have pointed to this. What is that? The other verse? Jai Krishna, Jai Gaura, Jai Krishna, Jai Jagannath. Vasudev Ghosh or Vasudev Dutt sang that song. Vasudev Ghosh. And then also, what is that? Balram Hoilo Nitai. What is the other one? So anyway, all the Vaishnava Acharyas have emphatically asserted the fact that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. In fact, in this Caitanya-caritāmṛta, in the 3rd chapter, if I am not wrong, that also establishes the point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. So many references from Vedic literature were quoted in that chapter. We have gone through all that. I think it's in the 3rd chapter, if I am not wrong. And it is also said there that even if Krishna tries to hide from his devotees will find him out. And that is quoted from the Stotra Ratna of Yamunacharya. This is the verse 3.89 of Ādi-līlā. Ullanghita trividha sima samatishayi sambhavanam tava parivradhima svabhavam maya balena bhavatapi niguhyamanam pashyanti kechidanisham tvadananya bhavaha. O my Lord, everything within material nature is limited by time, space and thought. Your characteristics, however, being unequaled and unsurpassed, are always transcendental to such limitations. You sometimes cover such characteristics by your own energy, but nevertheless, your unalloyed devotees are always able to see you under all circumstances. इथे भक्त भाव धरे चैतन्य गोसाय भक्त स्वरूप तार नित्यानंद भाई. For this reason, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the supreme teacher, accepts the form of a devotee and accepts Lord Nityananda as his elder brother. Bhakta avatar tar acharya gosai eitina tattva sabe prabhu korigai. Sri Advaita Acharya is Lord Chaitanya's incarnation as a devotee. Therefore, these 3 tattvas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Gosai, are the predominators or masters. So, predominators means the Lord, who is Purusha, male, who is the predominator, and female, Prakriti, is predominated. So, the 3, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu, are predominators, Vishnu Tattva, that means. That is what it means by Prabhu Korigai, the predominator Prabhu, means the Vishnu Tattva. Whereas Gadadhar and Shrivas are not predominator. Gadadhar is the expansion of Radharani, who is energy of Krishna, the spiritual energy. And Srivas Thakur is a devotional energy, devotee, who has taken the shelter of the devotional energy. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha. So such person is a devotee. So they don't come under the predominator category, they come under the predominated category. But even among the predominated, they are different class. So Srimati Radharani is the personal energy of the Lord, and we are also his energy, but we are very minute. Part and parcel, infinitesimal part and parcel, whereas the Hladini Shakti represented by Srimati Radharani, is the entire spiritual energy, especially the energy of bliss. And she is non-different from Krishna, whereas we cannot be said that we are non-different from Krishna. In one way, yes, because we are part and parcel, same quality, but in Radharani's case, she is as good as Krishna. just female. In fact, some of the devotees, they even accept her as even more than Krishna, because she is enjoying more. God means he is the supreme enjoyer, but Radharani, this argument is based on rasa tattva. So he's enjoying. He's supposed to be the supreme enjoyer, Atmarama, but Srimati Radharani is enjoying even more than Krishna, and that is the exact reason why he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to taste that uncommon happiness that Srimati Radharani is feeling within herself when she sees Krishna. So these are the secrets. So purport. Gosai means Goswami. This is Bengali way of saying it. In fact, they say Goshai. Goshai. So means Goswami. A person who has full control over the senses and mind is called a Goswami or Gosai. One who does not have such control is called Godas, or a servant of the senses. I don't know. There is one actress with the title Goswami. I don't remember what is her name. Few years back, I saw, wow, actress Goswami. They nowadays actresses, they do all kinds of nonsense on the screen, and they are just title because it's a family title, Goswami. But actually, that's not Goswami. It's not a family monopoly, or what is that? Yeah, it's not a monopoly of a family. It's the qualification. So that qualification is one who is a controller of his senses and mind. A spiritual master who actually has control over the mind and senses is called Goswami. Although the Goswami title has become a hereditary designation for unscrupulous men, actually the title Gosai or Goswami began from Sri Rupa Goswami, who presented himself as an ordinary grahastha and minister in government service, but became a Goswami when he was actually elevated by the instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Goswami is not a hereditary title, but refers to one's qualifications. When one is highly elevated in spiritual advancement, regardless of wherefrom he comes, he may be called Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Advaita Gosai Prabhu are natural Goswamis because they belong to the Vishnu Tattva category. As such, all of them are Prabhus, predominators or masters, and they are sometimes called Chaitanya Gosai, Nityananda Gosai, and Advaita Gosai. Now, an important point which I see many devotees don't pay attention to is, you see this word, they, the T is capital, and when we are referring to he as Lord Krishna, when we use the pronoun he, the H should be capital. Or even for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, the H should be capital when we are saying he, even if it's not in the beginning of the sentence. So this is etiquette. Even while writing, we have to see. Like in the BVA program, when I saw the answers, he has put he, small h. No, that's disrespect. Although I give marks for that, because maybe many devotees are not aware, not observant enough to see Prabhupada's books. Whenever the Lord is mentioned as a pronoun, he is the H should be capital. The day, you see here the plural, the T is capital. Pay attention to that. So because we need to, and even when we are mentioning Radharani and her expansions like Lakshmi Devi or Srimati Radharani, of course, and Yogamaya, we also mention she or her, the S and H as capital. Okay, we have to note these things. But even for such great demigods as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, if you see, it is small h, he, her. Even Lord, sometimes even Lord Shiva is mentioned as O Lord, and there the Lord, for Lord Shiva, of course, Lord Shiva, when we say Lord Shiva, the L is capital, but then when somebody is addressing him as O my Lord, there the Lord is small, L. because it is because Prabhu, like we address every devotee as Prabhu. That does not mean he is a supreme personality of Godhead. No. So when we are referring to him, it is he or H, small. So like that, we have to note these things. Okay. Unfortunately, their so-called descendants. Okay, let's read that. As such, all of them are Prabhus, predominators or masters, and they are sometimes called Chaitanya Gosai, Nityananda Gosai, and Advaita Gosai. Unfortunately, their so-called descendants who do not have the qualifications of Goswamis have accepted this title as a hereditary designation or a professional degree. This is not in accord with the Shastric injunctions. Brajikishore Prabhu is saying Udita Goswami. Oh, is that the name? Udita Goswami. Oh, that's the actress, huh? This is not Goswami. This is fake Goswami. It's just a hereditary designation without a name. Just like they say Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru or Mahatma Gandhi or Goswami. These are all titles given by some family heredity, or some people have given the title Pandit. What Pandit? When he came to Vrindavan, Jawaharlal Nehru, he did not even visit one temple. What kind of Pandit is he? He doesn't care for any religion. He did not care. And he was also very frivolous with women, even British women. And Mahatma. Gandhi is given the title Mahatma. Mahatma means Krishna certifies who is Mahatma. Just like a PhD degree is not given by a person on the street, it is given by the head of the university after seeing sufficient qualification in a particular person. So similarly, the head of all affairs, Lord Krishna, he is the one who will decide who is Mahatma and who is not. Who is Mahajan or Mahatma. It's not for people to decide. It does not happen on a democratic basis, on a voting basis. No. And even in the same way, the so-called Mahatma Gandhi, he also termed some people as Harijan, the Dalits and so-called lower class people. That is the mission, to elevate everybody to the platform of Harijan. But that does not happen by just giving him a title and keep him as good as a next to animal level of consciousness and make him a Harijan. It doesn't work like that. Anybody who is in the bodily concept of life, even though he is Brahmin family, he is not even human being, it is said in the Shastra. It's Dvipada Pashu. It's an animal platform. So on the animal platform, one cannot be called Harijan. Of course, we are all children of Hari. But one who is actually Harijan or Mahajan or Mahatma, Goswami, Pandit, all these words refer to extremely exalted personalities who are devotees, great Vaishnavas of the first class, of the first rung of devotees. First class, second class, third class, three kinds of devotees are there. These are the first class, topmost devotees. They are referred to such titles, Harijan. Like Narad Muni, he is the real Harijan. Prabhupada, he is real Harijan. So these Acharyas are real Harijans, who are the elite club, who are the confidential associates of Hari. Just like if you say the Prime Minister's men, that means his inner circle of people. We are all Prime Minister's men in that way, because we are in the same country. We are his citizens, his subjects. So we are also Prime Minister's men. But when we say Prime Minister's men, it refers to his inner circle. So similarly, Harijan means one who are in the inner, confidential associates of Krishna, Hari. So giving titles does not do any good. It's just euphemism. Euphemism means, make it sound a little better than what it actually is. It's actually, some crap, rubbish. But just to make it sound a little bit better. Why make it sound a little bit better? Why not make it actually better? Just like, in the midst of the pandemic, everybody is wishing each other Happy New Year, wish you this, and everybody dying all around them. And then say, Happy New Year. What is that? Simply some euphemism or some. There's no substance. There's no substance actually. It's just because everybody says that, they just say. But then nobody actually means it. Nobody was feeling happy at the beginning of 2021. They were more anxious, in fact. Maybe at the beginning of 2020 they were happy, but then pandemic hit and then the happiness was gone. And 2021 people were still skeptical actually. And then instead of saying wish you a skeptical new year, they say wish you a happy new year. And nothing changed. Anxieties increased actually. Okay, maybe there are vaccines, this and that, but what to speak even before the pandemic, as if people were always happy. So just wishing, giving a nomenclature, these things won't help. In fact, nowadays motivational speakers are speaking like that. They say, just use the language, even if you don't feel it, just say it as if you feel it. Motivational speakers are saying that. They say just by using the language, your attitude will change. No, it doesn't. It's not a quick fix like that. We actually have to be situated in real knowledge to understand, to actually be happy. Devotees who are actually Krishna conscious, they're always happy. They don't need to wish each other, oh, good morning, or what is that, Happy New Year. They're always, the morning or afternoon or night is always good, and they're always happy, whether New Year or Old Year or whatever it is, they're always happy. But if you're not a devotee, morning won't be good, afternoon won't be good, night won't be good, and evening won't be good, and New Year's won't be happy, birthdays won't be happy. It's just some, what is that? Blind, like if you are covered with some thing and just we are made blind. Like for example, rabbit or ostrich. When there is a danger, they put their head under the ground and they close their eyes, thinking that they think just like when we see a dangerous dream, we may open our eyes and then come out of that dangerous situation. So when they see danger in real life, they close their eyes and go bury themselves under the ground, they bury their heads under the ground, and they think they have escaped. No, that's not the way. So just by blinding ourselves, we cannot blinding ourselves with these words, we cannot come out of the problem. We actually have to address the problem with knowledge. If we don't address it with knowledge, we don't know how to address it, and we try to hide away from it by using these masked words. It won't help. Anyway, एक महाप्रभु आर प्रभु दुई जन दुई प्रभु सेवे महाप्रभु रचरण. One of them is Mahaprabhu and the other two are Prabhus. These two Prabhus serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Purport. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Prabhu all belong to the same Vishnu category, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is nevertheless accepted as the supreme, and the other two Prabhus engage in his transcendental loving service to teach ordinary living entities that every one of us is subordinate to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In another place in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Ādi-līlā 5.142, it is said, Ekale Ishwar Krishna Arsabhritya. The only supreme master is Krishna, and all others, both Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva, engage in the service of the Lord. So let's quickly go to that verse and come back. Ekale Ishwar Krishna Arsabhritya Yare Jaiche Nachaishe Taichikara Nritya. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them do so. Both the Vishnu Tattva as Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita and the Jiva Tattva Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda engage in the service of the Lord. But one must distinguish between the Vishnu Tattva servitors and the Jiva Tattva servitors. Now, this is an important point. One must distinguish, although both are servitors, one must distinguish between the Vishnu Tattva servitors and the Jiva Tattva servitors. The Jiva Tattva servitor, the spiritual master, is actually the servitor God. As explained in previous verses, in the absolute world there are no such differences, yet one must observe these differences in order to distinguish the Supreme from his subordinates. Servitor God. So, because the spiritual master should be considered as good as God. But then is he God? No, he is servitor God. Krishna is master God, he is servitor God. एतीन तत्व सर्वाराध्य करिमानी चतुर्थ जे भक्त तत्व आराधक जानी. The three predominators, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu, are worshipable by all living entities, and the fourth principle, Sri Gadadhar, is to be understood as their worshipper. Purport. In his Anubhashya, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, describing the truth about the Pañca-tattva, explains that we should understand that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme predominator and that Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu are his subordinates but are also predominators. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord and Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu are manifestations of the Supreme Lord. All of them are Vishnu Tattva, the Supreme, and are therefore worshipable by the living entities. Although the other two Tattvas within the category of Pañca-tattva, namely Shakti Tattva and Jiva Tattva, represented by Gadadhar and Srivas, are worshippers of the Supreme Lord, they are in the same category because they eternally engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Although they are in the same category of servitor, but still the Shakti Tattva is much more superior than the Jiva Tattva. In fact, the Jiva Tattva takes shelter of the Shakti Tattva. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaah. Shrivasadi jata koti koti bhaktagan shuddha bhakta tattva madhye tasabar ganan. There are innumerable pure devotees of the Lord headed by Srivas Thakur who are known as unalloyed devotees. Srivasadi jata koti koti bhaktagan. So then when we say Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Pañca-tattva mantra, right? So Srivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, we are actually offering our obeisances to all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu headed by Srivas Thakur. It is not only a prayer to the five aspects of Pañca-tattva, but also to all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Pañca-tattva. Srivasadi, Adi means beginning with. Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Gaura Bhakta means devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vrinda means group. The entire group of devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What group? How big is the group? 2 people, 3 people or 5 people? No. Unlimited. Gaudiya Vaishnava community. That is what is meant by Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. In fact, Tulsi Devi is also called Vrinda Devi because Vrinda means group. She always grows in groups. The Tulsi plant grows in groups, like many. So that's why called Vrinda. Vrindavan. It's a group of forests and also the forest of Vrinda Devi. In fact, there are 12 forests in Vrindavan. Dvadasha Kanan. Dvadasha Kanan means 12 gardens of forests. Gadadhar Panditadi Prabhur Shakti Avatar Antaranga Bhakta Kare Ganana Jahar. The devotees headed by Gadadhar Pandit are to be considered incarnations of the internal potency of the Lord. They are confidential devotees engaged in the service of the Lord. Purport. In the connection with verses 16 and 17, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains in his Anubhashya. What is Anubhashya? So we have to understand every word we are reading. So Anubhashya means commentary, following in the footsteps. Bhashya means commentary. Anubhashya means commentary following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. So this Anubhashya is the title of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary on the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also wrote Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. That is, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary is called Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. Similarly, Prabhupada's purports are called Bhaktivedanta purports. So Amrita Pravaha means the flow of nectar, the nectarine river. Rajeshwari Mataji is asking, Adi means even etc. Prabhuji? In English it is translated like that. Etc. means other things. Actually, Adi means first, Adi Purusham, or beginning, or the original. So Shrivas Adi, if you translate into English, Shrivas etc. But actually, it's beginning with Shrivas, the original way how it is translated. Adi means the beginning. Adi Anta. Anta means end. So Adi means beginning. So Shrivas Adi means beginning with Shrivas. Beginning with Shrivas means meaning the rest of them. So that's why it is etc. So actually the word is beginning with, but it carries the meaning of etc. because of, that's how it's translated in English. It's not exactly etc. but it is replaceable. Okay, so Anubhashya is the commentary of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And similarly, who is that? Sridhar Swami, his commentary is known as forgot. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary also is has a name. In fact, Baladev Vidya Bhushan, his commentary is known as Govinda Bhashya. So even Ramanujacharya's commentary on the Vedanta Sutra is known as Shri Bhashya, and Shankaracharya's commentary on the Vedanta Sutra is called Shariraka Bhashya. Shariraka means, Sharir means this material body. Shariraka means the Supreme Lord accepts a material body made of Maya when he comes into this world. So he does not come in the spiritual world. So it is an impersonal spirit which accepts a material body in this material world when it comes as an avatar. So because they think that the Supreme Spirit can be covered by Maya, they are called Mayavadis by Vaishnavas. So that is Shariraka Bhashya. So in this way, every Bhavartha Deepika, yes. Thank you for that. So the Sridhar Swami's commentary is known as Bhavartha Deepika, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary is known as I forgot the name. Maybe somebody can help me with that. Oh, it just slipped from my mind. Anyway, I'll wait for the comment. So, Anubhashya is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary on the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Okay? So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains in his Anubhashya, there are specific symptoms by which the internal devotees and the unalloyed or pure devotees are to be known. All unalloyed devotees are Shakti-tattvas or potencies of the Lord. Some of them are situated in conjugal love and others in filial affection. Filial means what? Parental. Others in filial affection, fraternity and servitude. Certainly, all of them are devotees, but by making a comparative study, it is found that the devotees or potencies who are engaged in conjugal love are better situated than the others. Okay. Sarartha Varshini Tika. Oh, okay, I did not remember it. This Sarartha Varshini Tika. What is Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary on the Bhagavatam? Is there his commentary on the Bhagavatam? I think that's a different name. Anyway, let me know in the comments. So, who are engaged, certainly all of them are devotees, but making a comparative study, it is found that the devotees or potencies who are engaged in conjugal love are better situated than the others. Thus, devotees who are in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in conjugal love are considered to be the most confidential devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramyakachadupasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita. The gopis are the most confidential, and those devotees who descended during the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even after them, who are in the mood of the gopis, they are extremely confidential. Okay, Sarartha Varshini Tika. Sarartha Darshini. This is Bhagavatam commentary, yes. And Sarartha Varshini Tika is Bhagavad Gita commentary. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Yes, Sarartha Darshini is what I remember. Thus, devotees who are in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in conjugal love are considered to be the most confidential devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Those who engage in the service of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Advaita Prabhu generally have relationships of parental love, fraternity, servitude and neutrality. See, important distinction here. Those who engage in the service of Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu generally have relationships of parental love, fraternity, servitude and neutrality. Now, generally. Now, it can be either or anyway, but Srila Prabhupada says generally they have these different flavors of relations. When such devotees develop great attachment for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they too become situated within the intimate circle of devotees in conjugal love. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary of Anubhashya. His explanation, that's why it's in quotes. This gradual development of devotional service is described by Sri Narottam Das Thakur as follows. Oh, this is a song. Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite na yane babe nira Ar kabe nitai chanda karuna karibe samsara vasana mora kabe tuchhabe Vishaya chariya kabe shuddha be mana kabe ham herabo Shri Vrindavana Rupa Raghunatha pade haibe akuti kabe ham bujhabo Shri Jugala Piriti. So this is a song actually by Narottam Das Thakur. In fact, I think it goes even more. Many verses are. I think six stanzas are there on this song. So, when will there be eruptions on my body as soon as I chant the name of Lord Chaitanya? And when will there be incessant torrents of tears as soon as I chant the holy names Hare Krishna? When will Lord Nityananda be merciful toward me and free me from all desires for material enjoyment? When will my mind be completely freed from all contamination of desires for material pleasure? Only at that time will it be possible for me to understand Vrindavan. Only if I become attached to the instructions given by the 6 Goswamis headed by Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami will it be possible for me to understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. Did you observe that in the song, Narottam Das Thakur is seeking perfection. He is not speaking from a platform of perfection. He is actually perfect. He is already seeing Radha Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Pañca-tattva descended when he was singing his kirtan. He had this huge kirtan festival in, I think, what is it called? Hera, what is that? Hera Panchami? Is that so? I think so. Hera Panchami Mahotsav. It is in Beda Kirtan Festival. So there he organized a huge Kirtan festival, and that was the first festival after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Narottam Das Thakur. And he, when he was singing, by the time already all the Pañca-tattva, all of them left for the spiritual world. But they descended in the midst of the entire Kirtan party when everybody was ecstatically chanting, when Narottam Das Thakur was singing. Everybody was chanting with ecstasy, and the Pañca-tattva descended specifically to dance in that Kirtan. See, that is the level of Narottam Das Thakur. If you read his life biography, you will read all these things. So even then, he is singing like this. When will this happen? When will, you see, when will there be goosebumps on my body? When will there be torrents of tears? When will Nityananda be merciful? When I will be able to chant Hare Krishna properly? When will my mind be completely freed from contamination of desires for material pleasures? Only then will I be able to understand Vrindavan. All in the futuristic tense. If you see Vaishnava Acharyas, all their songs are like that. This is the thinking of Vaishnava, not that, I am perfect, I am super devotee. Then Krishna will immediately put us in super hell. So you are super rascal, you get lost. So that's why Krishna says into Arjuna and Adipuran, Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktascha te jana. Those who think they are my devotees, I do not consider them my devotees. Mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamataha. Those who consider themselves devotees of my devotees, then yes, I consider them as my devotees. He wants to see the humility. So this is also humility by saying that when Krishna will I get the perfection. That is humility. When I say I am already perfect, I am already topmost devotee of Krishna, that means what? That is full of pride. In fact, so much so that even when Radharani considered herself very dear to Krishna in the Ādi-līlā, Krishna immediately left. He left even her. So pride, of course, Radharani is inseparable from Krishna, but just to show us the example that he does not accept pride. In fact, another example is in the Ramayana. When Hanuman, they were all building the bridge of the floating bridge of rocks to Lanka. Then Hanuman was throwing big boulders, mountain peaks, and one squirrel also was taking part in that Leela. Because Ram's army was Vanara Jati, Vanara army. Vanara means not human. Nara means human. Anara means not human. Va Anara means all kinds of subhuman species were taking part. Vultures, bears, monkeys, even squirrel also participated. So squirrel was throwing the pebbles, small pebbles. How much difference will that make in the construction of the bridge? Hardly any. And anyway, even if there is a gap of a pebble, no monkey is going to slip between that and then go below. No. So practically it is, by seeing like that, it's useless. But Hanuman therefore asked the squirrel to move aside therefore. You will be, what is the use of this pebble? And Lord Ram said, no. What squirrel is doing and what you are doing is same for me. How come same? One is a big boulder, one is a small pebble. No, because according to their capacity, they are doing the maximum. So that is what Bhavagrahi Janardhan. This is he accepts our Bhava. How much we surrender. Now if a person gives $20, so say $100 donation to the temple. Now, for a devotee who is receiving on behalf of Krishna in the temple, if two different persons donate $100, for him it looks the same. For Krishna it is different. One may be earning only $1,000 a month and another may be earning $1 million a month. So the percentage of surrender, ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. He does not see the actual, the denomination of the value. He sees the percentage of value of surrender. So the percentage of this person is 10%, who is having a salary of $1,000. For one who is having $1 million, for him $100 is how much? 0.01%, something like that, if I am correct. So comparatively it's So for Krishna, the $100 given by the person with lesser salary is more than the other one. So in the matter of the squirrel and Hanuman, both were trying their 100%. Although the value objectively may be different, but Krishna sees the subjective value, which is the percentage. When my mind, reading again from the purport. So when my mind will be completely freed. So all these are questions put forward in humility by Narottam Das Thakur, and we have to note these things. The language of Vaishnava. Many times, devotees forget how they should think. This is why the Vaishnava Acharyas wrote the songs, to show mercy towards us, not to show off their poetry. That is, see, they are writing in poetry not to show off. It is just to, in fact, help us, because we can easily remember something that is rhyming, right? And that's why verses and these songs are composed in rhyming and simple language, especially the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. The Bengali of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very simple. And even if you take the Sanskrit compositions of Vyasadeva and even Rupa Goswami and all the Acharyas, they write in verses not to show off their scholarship or show off their skill of writing. See how rhyming I wrote. No, it is to enable us to easily repeat those verses. If it is just a sentence, it is harder to remember. But if it is rhyming, that's why even the children are taught nursery rhymes, because when it's rhyming, it's easy to remember. And so in that way, it is a device to aid our memory. So to help us remember these things, these important instructions, these important expressions of consciousness or devotion. So these, the Acharyas, they present these verses in rhyming language. It is done as a matter of service, not as a matter of self-aggrandizement, not to get famed, not to be praised. In fact, to help, out of service. In fact, sometimes people don't understand. Like, for example, we have done some videos on our YouTube channel, and we called out a certain so-called devotee who was just simply talking nonsense in the name of Krishna consciousness, and then we said he has just fallen into the trap of gaining a popularity. Jana, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, I don't want wealth, fame, and women. But this fame, jana, is the trap that this particular devotee has fallen into, and he's just to appease the public. He is speaking anything that will satisfy them, and completely has forgotten to please Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. So when we mentioned that, he's just wanting to be popular, then people commented on our video. Even until today they are commenting. So they are saying, you are also after popularity. Why are you asking people to subscribe to your channel, or why have you posted this video just to gain popularity? No, in fact, I was becoming more unpopular with those people. If my intention was to become popular, I wouldn't have done something like that. I would have done something which will just make everybody so-called, satisfy their whims and fancies, and then I'll be the so-called smiley face, and everybody will give like, no dislike. But I'm getting 50% or sometimes, almost more than 50% dislikes. And so many of the comments are usually negative. So that's not popularity. And this is not. And when I say subscribe to our channel, subscribe to my channel, that's not for any self-aggrandizement, because our channel here is meant for the service of the people, to educate them. Even though they may call whatever they want, they call us whatever they want, out of their own insanity. But our mission is to help them, whether they like it or not, and to tell them that yes, here is a channel where you can get truth, where you can get Krishna conscious subject, and subscribe. So that's the reason. And it's totally different. So coming from, like when Ramanujacharya went up the tower to call out to everybody, to ask them to chant Om Namo Narayanaya. He was not looking for fame. Oh, you see, I am the greatest person. Everybody worship me because I am going to give the greatest boon to you. I am going to give you the name of God. You will get liberated. Worship me. Look at this. I am so high level than you all. No. He did not call them to get popularity or no. He took up that higher position to in service of the rest of the people. So servant does not mean only one who polishes somebody's shoes. No, servant is a person who actually serves the soul. And by taking on a higher position, like on a platform, it is a method to serve many people at once. Because if you have to speak up, if you are speaking from ground level or you bury yourself, oh, I am very humble, I don't want to be even, I am actually worse than the worm in the stool. In fact, all these people are better than me. I will go below them, I will stand right underground and I will speak from there. Who's going to see you? Nobody can see you and they don't know what is happening. A stupid humility. That's not humility, that's stupidity. Humility means come up, be visible, and serve everybody with perfect knowledge and behavior. That is actual humility. To spread the message of Krishna. So we have to understand these things properly. So only at that time will it be possible for me to understand Vrindavan. Yeah, another important point he mentioned, Narottam Thakur, only if I become attached to the instructions given by the six Goswamis headed by Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, it will be possible for me to understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. Or in other words, even the representatives of the six Goswamis, who are especially for us, it's Srila Prabhupada, who is a representative of the six Goswamis. So we have to what? Become attached to the instructions of Srila Prabhupada in order to understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. So we cannot approach Radha and Krishna before even understanding what Srila Prabhupada's instructions are. That's why we have to read Prabhupada's books. This is not, reading of Prabhupada's books is not only for the scholars or scholarly devotees or whatever. No. It is for everyone. How much they will be able to quote the verses, that is a different thing. But everyone must read. Must read. It is a must. Otherwise they will not become very good, great devotees, high grade devotees. They will remain in third class platform and keep on committing offenses. Because first of all, they are committing the offense of disobeying the spiritual master, not listening to the spiritual master. Spiritual master has written all the books and we are not reading. That means we are not listening to what Prabhupada is saying. Therefore, we have to read. Attending classes, that is good. But one also must read Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means personal reading. Should be there. By attachment to the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one immediately comes to the ecstatic position. When he develops his love for Nityananda Prabhu, he is freed from all attachment to the material world. Okay, you see, Prabhupada is telling something important here. By attachment to the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one immediately comes to the ecstatic position. When he develops his love for Nityananda Prabhu, he is freed from all attachment to the material world. And at that time, he becomes eligible to understand the Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan. So, we have to evaluate our attachment to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu by the symptoms. So, have we developed ecstatic love? No. That means we have no attachment for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Have we become freed from material world? No. That means we haven't developed any love for Nityananda Prabhu. In this way, these instructions we have to use for self-introspection. Not be in a hallucinated mode, in delusion that, I am a super devotee, just look at me. No. We have to look at ourselves first in the mirror and see where we are. In fact, when we see in the mirror, we think we are very good devotee. Oh, very nice tilak. I am very good devotee. Kanthimala is also there. Okay, good. No. We have to read from the Shastra and understand where is our position. Tadashmasaram hridayam badetam. Heart is stone hearted, not even melting by the chanting of Hare Krishna. That means we are full of offenses. We think we are not committing any offense. 10 offenses. Okay, I don't consider Krishna and demigods as equal. I am not blaspheming any devotee. I am following the instructions of Guru. I am not blaspheming any Vedic literature. I am not considering the holy name as imagination or the glories of the holy name as imagination. I am not interpreting in the holy name in any way. I am not committing any sin by strength of chanting holy name. I am not considering the holy name as one of the fruitive activities, fruitive rituals. I definitely will not preach to the faithless person. I will not preach. I am very careful to whom I preach. I better not open my mouth. So, if I don't preach, I will not run the risk of preaching to non-devotees. And 10th, I am attached to the, if to not have complete faith. Okay, faith is increasing, and to be attached to the body. What is that? To not have complete faith in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and to be still attached despite understanding so many instructions on this point. Actually, I am getting detached, I am getting detached actually. So, we may think ourselves that we are already like free or almost free from the offenses, but actually, if we are really free from offenses, one's ecstasy cannot be checked. Forget about ecstasy, we are not even attentive. How many places the mind is going while chanting. And not only while chanting, other time also, where is our mind? In fact, a person who is really offenseless, he will not be able to stop chanting. So, of course, it is not to be imitated. What I am saying is, we have to be realistic and realistically evaluate ourselves. It's not that, I am not crying, so therefore I am condemned, let me commit suicide, I think. No, it's not like that. It's just that we have to just routinely press forward the instructions of the spiritual master and not be delusional and jump into the stage that, I am directly with Krishna, or being impatient. Why until now Krishna is not even showing to me, I am already chanting for 2-3 years, still Krishna is not coming. Every day I am trying to chant and no. So we have to realistically evaluate ourselves where we are, then we will understand what is our position, and pray to Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Pañca-tattva. That's why we chant Pañca-tattva mantra before chanting Hare Krishna. Why? We have to feelingly pray to them. Please, show mercy towards me. That's why we are chanting the Prabhupada's mantra also, requesting their mercy. When we chant Prabhupada's mantra, means requesting the mercy of the entire parampara through Srila Prabhupada. So, when we have Prabhupada's mercy, means entire parampara's mercy is there, Krishna's mercy is there. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. So, therefore, we are chanting these verses, then chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In that condition, when one develops his love for the 6 Goswamis, he can understand the conjugal love between Radha and Krishna. These are the different stages of a pure devotee's promotion to conjugal love in the service of Radha and Krishna in an intimate relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. जहाँ सबालया प्रभुर नित्य विहार, जहाँ सबालया प्रभुर नित्य विहार, जहाँ सबालया प्रभुर कीर्तन प्रचार, जहाँ सबालया करें प्रेम आस्वादन, जहाँ सबालया दान करे प्रेम धन. The internal devotees or potencies are all eternal associates in the pastimes of the Lord. Only with them does the Lord advent to propound the Sankirtan movement. Only with them does the Lord taste the mellow of conjugal love, and only with them does He distribute this love of God to people in general. You see? That means those who are distributing the love of God to people in general, they are in the internal devotees, confidential devotees. See, Srila Prabhupada, therefore, is not somebody who is, just like, who became perfect only just like us, or we are not even perfect. Like somebody like us who became perfect, it's not like that. Okay, even if one becomes perfect like that, there is no difference between him and the Nitya Siddha. But one has to be that pure devotee. and reach that stage of internal confidential associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only then will he be able to distribute the love of Godhead to the people in general. Only with them does the Lord advent to propound the Sankirtan movement. So his associates will all be such confidential devotees. And therefore, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prithivityachu Jatan Agradigram Sarvatra Prachar Hoibe Moranam, Hoibe means in the future. That means his confidential servitor will come and do it. And that was Srila Prabhupada. Purport. Distinguishing between pure devotees and internal or confidential devotees, Srila Rupa Goswami in his book Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, traces the following gradual process of development. Out of many thousands of karmis, one is better when he is situated in perfect knowledge. Out of many such learned scholars and philosophers, one who is actually liberated from material bondage is better. And out of many such persons who are actually liberated, one who is a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is considered to be the best. Among the many such transcendental lovers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the gopis are the best. And among the gopis, Srimati Radhika is the best. Srimati Radhika is very dear to Lord Krishna, and similarly her pawns, namely Shyamakund and Radhakund, are also very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the 10th verse of Upadeshamrita. There are only 11 verses there, and this is the 10th verse. We can go to that verse actually. कर्मिभ्यः परितो हरेः प्रियतया व्यक्तिं ययुर्ज्ञानिनास् तेभ्यो ज्ञानविमुक्तभक्तिपरमाः प्रेमैकनिष्ठास्तताः तेभ्यस्ताः पशुपालपङ्कजदृशस्ताभ्योऽपि साराधिका प्रेष्ठा तद्वदीयं तदीयसरसी तां नाश्रयेत् कः कृती. In the Shastra, okay, we have actually read all of this translation just now. This is the same thing. Okay, so Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in his Anubhashya, which again is his commentary on the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, that among the 5 tattvas, the Pañca-tattva, 2 are energies, Shakti-tattva, and the 3 others are energetic, Shaktiman-tattva or Vishnu-tattva, energetic, who possess the energy. Unalloyed and internal devotees are both engaged in the favorable culture of Krishna consciousness, untinged by philosophical speculation or fruitive activities. Unalloyed and internal devotees. There can be pure devotees, but they may not be internal, confidential. But anyway, even both of them, unalloyed and internal devotees, are both engaged in the favorable culture of Krishna consciousness, untinged by philosophical speculation or fruitive activities. They are all understood to be pure devotees, and those among them who simply engage in conjugal love are called Madhurya Bhaktas or internal devotees. So, all are pure devotees, but those who are in Madhurya Rasa, they are called internal devotees. The loving services in parental love, fraternity and servitude are included in conjugal love of God. See, the loving services in parental love, fraternity and servitude are included in the conjugal love of God. Now, we can understand this to an extent in the material world. You see, in relationships, the stronger the relationship, the better you know the person. A servant may know the master better if he becomes a good servant. But then, more than the servant, a friend of that person would know the person even more, because the friend, he will share more secrets with the friend. And the parent, the love of the parent is even more, because entire life the person may have taken care of the person, the child. So the parental love is even more. And the conjugal love, if you see, a person who really knows the other person is a person who is his conjugal partner in marriage. He will know the person most intimately, right? So similarly, the same thing we can see, because these are all reflections of the original spiritual world. So in the spiritual world also, the most confidential devotees are the internal devotees, are the Madhurya Bhaktas. The loving services in parental love, fraternity and servitude are included in conjugal love of God. it is just like the Panchabhutas. The earth has all aspects that can be perceived with all our five senses. There is sound, there is touch, there is form, there is taste, and there is smell. So it already contains all the properties that water has, which is all four except the smell, which the water has all the qualities of the fire, except fire doesn't have taste. And fire has all the qualities of air, because sound and touch is there in fire, but in fire there is form also. So it has the aspects of the previous element, but it has an additional aspect also, which is not found in the previous element. So similarly, the conjugal love has all the aspects of servitude, fraternity, parental, and even what is the Shantaras, which is passive love, appreciation. So conjugal love has all of these, but it has more things which the others don't have. This example is given in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. That is what is meant by this sentence. In conclusion, therefore, every confidential devotee is a pure devotee of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoys his pastimes with his immediate expansion, Nityananda Prabhu. His pure devotees and his three Purusha incarnations, namely Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, always accompany the Supreme Lord to propound the Sankirtan movement. So I think we will stop it here. Next verse is very nice verse, but we will stop it here. We will continue in the next week with this. We have stopped at verse 19, 11 to 19 today. So any questions or comments on this topic? So far, no. So if not, I will stop it here. I will wait for a few seconds to see if any questions are coming. And those who are taking part in the BVA program, Bhaktivedanta Assessments program, the submission date is tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. Singapore time. So if you have not done so yet, please do so. And if there are no other questions, we will stop it right here. Thank you all very much for participation. जय श्री पंचतत्व की जय, श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण।